Pleased to announce that Scott Einbinder, Mark Seiden, myself, Scott Forcino, Victoria Rivadeneira, Michelle Nixon, and others are offering and providing for the real estate industry, both realtors and lenders, title companies, insurance companies, home inspectors, and lenders, a chance for realtors to be better equipped to handle the policy changes upcoming in 2025. We are about 6 months into this new policy environment where the settlements obligations fall on real estate professionals as we know them to be. There are many new requirements that the real estate professionals, whether buyers agents or listing agents, have not had to follow in the past. Well, as in all other situations, there are great ways to get these requirements met and not so great. There are pitfalls, there are problems to avoid, there are consumers, customers, clients to serve well with fiduciary, zealous advocacy. It is my strongly held belief that decoupling, which means that the government wants the sellers to never pay a buyer's agent, and the plaintiffs, the class action members, will seek further decoupling if there's ever an petition for enforcement based on the settlement. We are going to a place where compensation is not going to be offered by sellers initially, possibly could be negotiated within an offer and acceptance on a piece of property, or maybe not at all even allowed based on consumer rights issues, laws, and legal precedent. The question I have for realtors is, without any experience, without careers built on getting paid directly from buyers, how do we, all of us, expect to perform in that environment? And that's not a rhetorical question. Buyers have not paid their own buyer's agents. The commission, as we know, has been baked in and passed through the transaction, checks written from title companies or attorneys, and compensation is earned. Compensation was already set in stone through the MLS offer on the computer screen, and there was an enforcement remedy wherein arbitration required any failure to pay company to company, the board would step in. There was rarely, if ever, a chance for one company to not pay full compensation to the other company that cooperated in the transaction. Now we have a situation where neither the establishment or the enforcement of commission or payments is in place. Realtors must demonstrate their value, must make a demand, must gain agreement, and must gain payment from their buyer clients. And that leaves real estate firms open to failures to perform on the part of their clients. What if, with all the closing costs and the remainder of the down payment and the cash reserves and other circumstances that are still unforeseen, a buyer does not bring the requisite agreed upon sum to closing? We have a problem. So we have trainers, speakers, leaders, practitioners who are offering their insight, sharing their perspective on how it is best to be a buyer's agent, how to demonstrate the need for representation, what will be offered within that representation, how a buyer succeeds with that representation. We have training for those representing sellers. What should be expected from a seller? What should a seller expect from a listing agent? What should a seller expect a buyer to bring to the offer? There's such a shifting landscape and such a change in circumstances. For lenders and title companies and home inspectors that are almost entirely reliant upon realtor referrals, I ask, and I've not gotten this question, what are you doing? What procedures are in place to maintain relationships with realtors? What is being offered to provide support? What is making realtors better? What is making realtors capable to handle these new requirements? What is being done to assist them in explaining to the consumer public why these changes were made and how these changes will benefit them? What is being done in regard to the public arena by explaining our role into the new set of rules. How is our compensation being justified without being established on a computer screen by another party to the transaction? It's my belief that if those ancillary service providers, banks, title, lenders, mortgage brokers, inspection companies, if they do not create or enhance strong relations through means that they have not done otherwise, they will, with realtors, they will have a much harder time to sustain their business model. The normal things that were done, the lunches and learns, the donuts, the coffee, everything that we did cannot suffice anymore. Much more involvement with transactions and much more of a committed, concerted effort with agents is needed. And that also puts the vendor in a much better position. Instead of hoping to be picked by the agent that doesn't need any help, not because agents are forced to practice in an area they never did. They all need help. They all need refreshers. They all need information on how to prosper in this new economy. It also puts the lender in a place where they can be part of the deals. They can be shepherding realtors to some of the financial strategies, some of the ways to allow financing to make or break a deal. Why should lenders any longer hope to be picked when realtors are fully capable and competent? Well, unfortunately, because this is a new arena, agents need help in being trained on how to handle the challenges and how to use financing strategies to structure deals. We are at high interest rates, touching 7, February 2025. We have a training, and that is possible to be disseminated on video, on demand, which will allow for a certain amount of comfort for buyers agents to learn the hows, the whens, the whys, and the what to do when facing buyers who are now by law required to sign an agreement to even tour a property. I don't think that agents are universally conversant or capable to explain to agents, to buyers, I should say, what this agreement entails and what they are expected to pay for. I don't think listing agents are marketing homes with enough of a financial strategy to attract the best buyer. And maybe there's a listing agent that has a client that does not want to pay a buyer's agent. Maybe they want to attempt to maximize their profit. Maybe they want to save that cost. Maybe they want to eliminate any competition in their transaction. Maybe they want to have their broker handle the entire deal with no opposition. There's a myriad of facets that are now in front of us. The government and the plaintiffs in the Sitzer case are working against the old way of doing things for realtors, compensation, and even their career. It is incumbent upon all of us, all the providers and the realtors themselves, to get better, to survive, to prosper, to utilize this training, to make it available, to embrace the new rules, to demonstrate transparency to the consumers so there's trust and there's more of a willingness to pay for appropriate services. Let's be real, buying and selling a house is a big deal. Hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars are at stake. The professionals have been licensed for many years and are competent. The book Who Moved My Cheese was in the year 2000. Well, we are now in a situation where so many pieces of cheese have been moved. We all must adjust. We have to choose those providers that wish to support us as realtors. We have to celebrate those providers that want to offer insight and direction, that which might be missing from your company, your board, your state association, or even NAR. There's no more denying the circumstances. There's no more blaming the lawyers. We're in this environment and it's not going to change. And it only can get different if and when there's complete decoupling. If we're in a real estate transaction where buyers only pay for buyers' agents and sellers only pay for their own agents, how best can we work and survive and prosper in that environment? That's what's available to us. That type of training, that type of direction where each step of the way is fully explained and made understandable to your consumer, clients, customers, and even colleagues. We look forward to providing you that.